What's up everyone, Nati the Ambassador here and welcome to another video. After observing great individual defenders, I now want to analyze great team defense, looking at what makes them great and how you can implement the tactics they use into your own game. One of the most important components of great team defense is communication and hustle. If a person gets beat on defense, it's up to the other players to rotate accordingly to prevent the opposition from scoring. Another important aspect of defense is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your matchup, focusing more on stopping the strengths of your opposition and knowing what shots you're willing to let your opponent take. The modern NBA places an emphasis on shooting threes. Therefore, most great teams like San Antonio seek to draw players off the three-point line and have them pull up from mid-range. Some of the best team defenses are San Antonio, Boston, Memphis, and Golden State. There are some teams like OKC and Houston that have great individual players and have a better defensive rating than some of the teams I mentioned, but I believe that these teams have a great playstyle and consistently abide by it. The San Antonio Spurs are a talented team that has a great understanding of the fundamentals in order to force tough shots. Their defense has worsened with losing both Kawhi and Danny Green, yet they remain a disciplined and intelligent team. Here we see Atlanta use a double drag pick and roll to get to the middle. This action is very hard to guard without switching, which the Spurs do, creating a mismatch with fours on Ilyasova. Ilyasova notices this and drives baseline to force the Spurs to help, which both Anderson and Gasol do. This usually leaves one player open for three, yet Ginobili does a great job of hovering between the two shooters and reads the pass for a steal. The Spurs will switch the double ball screen again, creating that same mismatch. Ilyasova switches positions with Muscala to enter the post and take advantage of the mismatch. Ginobili helps off Ilyasova to prevent the pass yet overcommits, leaving his man open. Kyle Anderson makes a great read to cover Ginobili's man, yet gets beat and gives up a drive. Ginobili covers Anderson's man, Forbes steps up to help defend the drive, and Gasol takes Forbes' man. Now Bertans is the one hovering between the two shooters. Him being spaced in the middle allows him to rotate to whoever gets the ball. Ginobili sees this and guards the man one pass away, and Forbes now rotates to guard Ginobili's man. The great communication and execution of the switches help them recover well and force a tough shot. Here we can see the uniqueness of the defense the Spurs had when Kawhi was still in San Antonio. He can guard the ball handler, making switching less detrimental as there isn't a huge mismatch in the post. Off the pick and roll, he fights through the screen to prevent the shot and switches with Dedmond, baiting the offense into making a tough pass. Boston has a great system and great individual defenders as well. Here we can see that Bradley Beal curls off the Gortat screen and has a step on Avery Bradley. Jay Crowder sees this and cuts the drive off. Beal gives Wall the ball back in response, Crowder overcommits, and Wall drives. Now it's Avery Bradley's turn to help on defense, attempting to steal the ball. This forces John Wall to pick up his dribble and leave the ball slightly exposed, which Crowder takes advantage of to tip the ball. Al Horford also rotated to help as well, and grabs the ball to start the fast break. Here we see Parsons taking advantage of Isaiah Thomas guarding him. The Celtics double the post and have their other three players hover between the four Mavs players. After Chandler Parsons kicks it back out, Sullinger rotates back to his man with his hands held high to deflect a potential pass, and Johnson rotates back to cover Dirk. The Mavs try to get it back into Parsons again, and we see great energy and awareness from the Celtics to prevent the mismatch and force the tough shot. The Celtics make a great attempt to prevent the mismatch of Rozier on LeBron, yet two screens gets this matchup anyways. Before the mismatch even occurred, Horford had been hovering near the paint to stop any potential drives. Kyle Korver attempts to screen Horford for Kevin Love, yet there's no movement and Smart simply switches with Horford. Rozier does a great job of fronting the pass and recovering to help stop the drive. Horford comes in to help as well, and Smart and Brown do a great job of rotating between the three shooters. Brown does a great job of recovering to Kevin Love and forcing the shot clock violation. The Grizzlies have great defense as well, relying on their length and great rotations to prevent open looks. Their defense took a hit with the loss of Marc Gasol, but they're still a great team. Jared Dudley slips the screen, making Green out of position as he attempted a hedge. As Dudley drives, we see great help defense from Conley, Caspi, and Jackson. It's Jackson's length that ultimately forces Dudley to make a pass. Caspi's length allows him to deflect the pass despite helping off the drive. DeMar Carroll collects the ball yet doesn't cover it smoothly, and great help defense from Jackson and the shot clock forced the turnover. Here we see great help off the pick and roll. Green is in a great defensive position to help early at the free throw line and again create a turnover. In this play, Napier inbounds the ball and fakes the cut, followed by a Russell pick and roll. Caspi understands that Russell will probably drive to the middle and gets to the free throw line early. Him being in great help position early allows him to stunt and recover to his man if the pass is thrown. Now Mac is in a great defensive position. He can recover back to Russell and eventually gets the steal. Marc Gasol was great for their team because of his intelligence and awareness. He sees that the shot clock is at 2 seconds and thus decides to trap and force the tough shot. Russell decides to pass instead, and it's a shot clock violation. The Warriors have great defense as well, running a great system that utilizes the versatility and great defenders they have to switch efficiently. Here we see the immediate impact of Draymond Green. He switches with Curry off the ball screen and can do so because he can guard CJ McCollum well. Steph is too small for Harkless, however, which Clay notices and signals for Curry to guard Turner. This creates matchups that aren't ideal, yet there are no mismatches. You can see that Steph and Clay both communicate verbally and with hand movements to ensure that they're on the same page. CJ drives, Draymond plays great defense, and Clay and Pachulia help to force the miss. What we have here is an incredible 3-man switch that's extremely difficult to do. Harkless is being guarded by Pachulia and sets a screen on Lillard to force that mismatch. Pachulia sees this, however, and it signals for Steph to leave CJ and guard Harkless. Draymond notices that would leave Pachulia on CJ, and switches again to have him guard CJ and Pachulia guard Miles Leonard. Dame gets the ball screen, and Steph defends well to force a tough shot. Here we see Portland run a nice action as Vonleh first sets a screen for Crabbe and then sets another for CJ McCollum. West and Clay double CJ, which is understandable considering his skill. Draymond rotates over to cover Vonleh, which he can do because Aminu isn't an offensive threat, and because Clark and Iguodala are in a great position to help. CJ does turn the ball over, yet Draymond would have been in great position to stop the shot attempt. Despite some differences in the playstyles of the teams I mentioned, they do a great job of communicating and covering for one another. Watching these teams can help you better understand when to help on defense and how to do so within your system. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Having a better understanding of what these great teams and players do can greatly improve your game. My next video will be a breakdown of Harden's game and explaining what you can do to implement certain aspects of his game into your own. With that being said, have a great rest of your day and peace.